All right. So today, guys, I'm gonna just tell you why a lot of people are not seeing progress. Why are people working hard on things but still staying the same? And this was a loop that I found myself in for a long time, man. Not only in fitness, but just in life, where I was keeping busy because it felt productive, but I was focusing on the wrong things. I wasn't focusing on the things that move the needle. And it goes back to, you'll probably hear me ask, like, if or talk about, if somebody asks you how hard are you actually working on your goals. Yeah, 1 out of 10, a lot of you would say like 8, 9, 10. But if then somebody asked you, all right, now if somebody was to watch you and shadow you every day and you changed nothing from what you're doing right now, how committed would they say you are to your goals? And then when you think of it that way, you're like, man, if somebody else was watching me, probably like a 5 or 6. And I think that that definitely ties into all of this. I had that habit of where I was focusing on all the wrong things. I was not doing the tasks that actually moved the needle in the right direction of where I wanted to get to. And it just left me stuck and miserable for years. And I don't want other people to be stuck and feeling that way as well. So here's some common things that I noticed in myself that I'm also noticing a lot in people that I've been talking to. What are they struggling with? What are they currently doing? And why is that leaving them stuck? And it all boils down to pretty much exactly what I was doing as well. So, first off, effort doesn't automatically equal progress. That's what we need to get out of the way. Like, I felt like I was trying hard, but I would go in, I would do like random workouts. I didn't have any plan. I was just doing like different stuff every time. And I wasn't actually like, sure, I saw strength gains because I was lifting. And, especially when you start out, you're going to get those newbie gains, or you're starting back in the gym and some of your old strength is coming back for sure. But I wasn't consistently progressing on like the same movements. You want to have a good period of workouts, like 8 to 12 weeks where you are focused on the same workouts and progressive overload and pushing those movements up. I was never tracking any of my numbers. I was just like, yeah, this feels kind of heavy. No, I wasn't tracking my numbers. I didn't know how close to failure I was. Or like then I got into a period where I became very sedentary, and then I would like go hit a killer workout and be like, "Oh yeah, I just worked out for an hour and a half, 2 hours," and then I wouldn't move the rest of the day. And it leaves a lot of people stuck with their weight loss because that session is only burning so many calories. Your day to day activities burn so many more calories than just your workout. Um, Another one, eating healthy but not actually being in a deficit, or if you're trying to bulk, you feel like you're eating a lot, but you're not reaching the surplus because a lot of the foods you're eating, let's be honest, are probably too clean. Like, it is so hard to get into a surplus if all you're eating every day is chicken and rice. You're going to get full as shit. No wonder you're feeling like bloated or stuck. You have to not necessarily dirty it up, but see where you actually like look at what you're eating, look at the numbers, see where you can add in a little bit of numbers of things that are not going to fill you up. Cooking with olive oil, adding an avocado to a meal, adding, oh, I dare I say it, add like a sprinkle of cheese to something, man, like whatever. But the eating healthy, not in a deficit, that was 100% like what I was doing for a while. I would just try to eat clean, but a lot of foods that they tell us are clean and a lot of foods that they say are healthy doesn't mean low calorie. I'd still eat like 3,000 calories a day, wondering why I'm not losing weight, but I was eating healthy. So it's finding that balance of actually seeing like what numbers are you hitting. I don't listen, once you get to a point where you've done this, you've done it for a while, you kind of know what you eat every day, you know around what calories you're taking in, you're hitting your protein because you became that person, that fit individual that just does this shit every day. You don't need to track. But at least for the first 2 weeks, if you're serious about your goals, you need to track what you're putting in your body. You're going to find your cravings go down, your protein's going to be up. You're actually going to be able to get carbs in and feel like you have energy because you're looking at your numbers now. And it just helps you so much with reaching your goals. Like, I know it's not the most fun thing in the world, it's not the most sexy thing. Just track for 2 weeks. See what your numbers are. See how you can hit them perfectly every day, and you're going to be amazed. Another thing I was doing, not focusing on my recovery enough. Like, I'd go in and be like, "Oh, I'm going to hit this 2-hour workout," and then I would sleep like shit and then not build any muscle. Busy feels productive, focusing on the wrong things. I've done this in my life so many times, not only with fitness, but work, wondering, oh, why is this business not growing? I'm working 15 hours a day, focusing on all the wrong shit, not the things that actually move the needle and make things grow, in a sense of life and in a sense of your muscles, your physique, just being better on things, over complicating meals, being like, oh, I saw this meal prep. I'm going to take 2 hours to prep this. And then, sure, that's your lunch for 4 days, but what the fuck about the rest of your meals? Like, you overcomplicate one thing instead of and then it makes the other things have less of your attention, and then you may hit that great meal every lunch and it tastes good, blah 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 blah. Or I see it all the time, somebody tries the meal out and then tastes like shit and they just wasted 2 hours of their life. Stop overcomplicating it. Just get your macros in. Don't try to make some like super fancy meal. You can make things taste good without having an elaborate thing to do, or adding too much cardio and then slacking on those meals. Like, thinking that you're going to be able to outdo a bad meal from a cardio session, which is a terrible mindset in the first place. Also, killing it during the week, slacking on the weekends. Everybody does that, man. If your goal is important to you, you cannot just slack on the weekends. Once you get there, sure, because you're going to be able to maintain progress, as you've probably seen. You're doing this, or I was doing this as well, doing great during the week and then messing it all up on the weekend and then not changing. So you're going to be able to maintain by doing this, but you're not going to improve a lot, at least by doing this. So got to get the weekends in check, at least for the short term, until you're to your goal. Hyper focusing on supplements, man. It is not that important what supplements you are taking. If you find that you're deficient in something, that you're like, oh man, my sleep is really terrible, or, I'm getting dizzy when I get up. Okay, if you're getting dizzy when you stand up too quick, you probably need an iron supplement. That's what you're deficient in. Other than that, chill the hell out on what you're taking. Sure, you can take general rule of thumb, magnesium, like vitamin D, vitamin C. Those are typical ones that, people are deficient in. So I would take those. Other than that, just chill out unless you find that you're really deficient in something. Getting results, you get results from things you can measure. That was the main thing. I was not measuring anything. I wasn't measuring what I was eating. I wasn't measuring what numbers I did in the gym. I wasn't tracking what my weight trends were doing through the week, which, again, don't focus too much on the scale, but you should have some type of measurement for your progress, whether it's just progress pictures, or, step on the scale 3 times a week, get an average number for the week and see the average go down. Consistency. People don't think that they can measure their consistency. You absolutely can measure your consistency. Put down what days you're going to go to the gym, and then check it off when you hit it. Put an X when you don't. And then you're going to be able to review that. Oh, shit. Well, this past month, I averaged Xing out to 2 lifts a week. Well, there you go. That's why you weren't consistent. It all comes down to like just taking the extra 30 seconds every day to put your meal in, to put your numbers in after a lift, and marking things off. Make a calendar, make a schedule, get something consistent and check things off. Focus on the things that are going to move the needle. It's not what supplements you're taking. It's not what cardio you're doing. It's not even exactly what lifts you're doing. It is that you are actually progressing on those lifts. I see people doing shitty exercises all the time that are big because they're consistent and they progressed on those shitty lifts. It might have taken a little bit longer because their lifts weren't good, but they still saw results because they progressed on things. So, yeah, there's a lot of important shit in just tracking your data, focusing on those needle movers, the things that are going to push your progress in the right direction. This is all you need. numbers in the gym, numbers of what you eat, and consistency. Those three things. Don't even need to really track the weight trends. I mean, it's helpful for me as a coach, but if you're doing this on your own, then you could go off progress pictures strictly for sure. I like to have a combination of both, but yeah, that's besides the point. So yeah, I mean that sums it up really, and I will leave it at that for this one, but I'll see you guys in the next one.